Hello, I'm going to show you how I converted my studio from just your average room into something that I like. And it took some time, but keep in mind as you watch this video, I'm going to say day one, day two until it's completed. But the days were not done consecutively like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, especially on Saturdays because that's the day I go to church. So from Friday night to Saturday night, day off, and I only worked on it after work. So the days that it took to do it probably wouldn't take you as long if you had full days to work on it. So just keep that in mind, and like I said, we're going to show how we change everything around into something that I like. Stay tuned.
For my broken heart, he's the mender. For my sins, he's the forgiver. So
Here we are getting ready to do some diagrams or some decorating on a plain wall. If you look, this has been painted white. It was kind of gray, but for the sake of trying to follow the instructions or what we saw on YouTube, we repainted the wall white. Now there's a wall behind my daughter who's working the camera that we painted black.
all the while I should have turned to you. I should have turned to you.
Which is more like the YouTube original video. But one's black, one's white, and we're gonna try both to see how it goes. Now in the video, he had a black wall, and he lined up the tape, as my daughter and I have done now. Just like this, vertical. Now when we finish, it's gonna be going horizontal as well. So it's kind of gonna look like a checkerboard. And after that, then it's spray paint time. But we're gonna take one step at a time, and we'll come back to this. Alright, this is day two. Yes, day two, because day one, it took about 5 hours to do this. On the video, they show you doing this. They only do a section, and it takes them probably like 30 minutes to do a section. But I had a whole long wall coming from down here to all the way down here, and then a slight wraparound. So approximately 5 hours later, and then another hour to finish up, is completed. So this was actually phase two, because phase one was painting the panel. The paneling was a gray looking color, so square one was painted white. Second step was to tape everything off, so we're about to take care of that now. It's going to be in stages. First will be the shading of the black, then will be the gold squares as well. Now I have got the tape up. I've done my best to spray paint this, and I'm gonna tell you, this, yeah, you're gonna need one of these. That video didn't explain a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna need one of these. And on top of that, hopefully your room will have some ventilation. Otherwise, you're gonna have to spray paint, and you're gonna have to leave the room, let the fumes die down. But let's backtrack. Paint also has a tendency to drip if you use too much. It also has a tendency to kind of splatter if you're not pressing the button on your spray paint just right. And that paint could land on some of the other paint, some of the other squares. So you want to get a little practice in, and you generally get a feel for it as you go. So the squares are painted. I made a couple of errors the first time around, but it's all good, because we're going to get some additional padding to go over some of this as well. But this will give me a good idea of what I want to do. So I'm going to pull off this tape, and we'll see if things worked out to look like, hopefully, what I wanted it to look like. Otherwise, I'm gonna be repainting this thing real quick. All right. As you see, there's some bleeding that occurred because this is paneling and not sheetrock. So the tape doesn't go flush against the paneling, and so it has a tendency to kind of bleed. Okay, so overall, we see the pattern here is pretty nice. I think, like I said, just touching up the areas where it was bleeding with some just regular wall paint, because that's what I used when I painted the white background in the first place. So I'll just get some paper and just kind of get the paint and edge it up, and that should take care of that problem. Then we'll have our squares. Overall, the pattern looks good, and that's how you do. So now, I think I'm gonna move on to this because I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out, and I'm gonna come back after this project is completed, and we'll take a look. All right, now. I've done the long white wall black. So now I'm getting ready to go over it and make it gold, like the other wall. So you have black, gold. Now if it bleeds over like it did the last time, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go back and retape it and edge it up with the white so that the lines are nice and crisp. As you see over here, as I've shown you before, I touched up the edges where it was running with black or gold paint down here. Get your tape and repaint white, and that'll take care of your edges and make it look a lot better than having everything running over. Okay, here we go. We finished painting the black and gold, and so now we're about to start removing the tape. Like last time, there's probably some bleeding under the tape because of the spray can being spray as opposed to being, you know, roller paint. So start removing it. After it's removed, I'll touch up the squares like I did on the other wall, and then you'll get an overall view of this wall as well. All right, so you can see me start, and I'll go back and finish. Okay, so now I've pulled off the tape. Things look pretty good. Some of them are clean. We have areas where the bleeding has occurred that I'm gonna have to mask off and touch up with the white paint. And after that, this wall will be completed. And the overall view of it, I'm pretty happy the way things went. And after this wall, I have a black wall that I'm gonna do like this. But it'll be white and black squares pretty much. So that's the next side of the wall, and we'll get to that later. Okay, here we are. We're doing the black wall. The black wall now. We have gone ahead and done the vertical stripes on it, and you see blue tape down at the end just because I ran out of this other tape. But it doesn't matter as long as it gets the job done. And I will be putting the horizontal tape on there. Okay, here we are. We have the black wall taped up now, and the black wall is taped up, and we're about to start spray painting it, and we'll see what the outcome of that looks like. Had a little trouble with the tape because it's not adhering to the wall as much as the other one, so I'm not sure how much bleeding will happen on this. And that's another thing, the paneling didn't have the same spacing as on the last one, so it took a lot longer to space this out. But what I did was get a template and just use it to measure the space apart. It's like 4 by 4, and that pretty much kept it a lot easier to measure. Keep pretty much equal spacing. All right. Okay, so we're on the black wall. Got the gold paint up here now. So now I'm gonna shade the rest of it, the black squares, in white, and after that it'll be time to take off the tape. Then of course gotta deal with the bleeding, and then I'll clean it up. But first I'll do the white, and then I'll peel it off, let you take a look at it, then I'll touch it up. Okay, we have the gold and white paint up now, and I'm going to start pulling the tape down, so we'll see what it looks like. Nothing that can't be touched up, just like I did with the other walls. Okay, so we pulled the tape down. This is what it looks like. We have some bleeding, you know, but like I said, that's to be expected because the tape wasn't sticking that well. Okay, this is the last of the walls that we had to paint, and about to pull off the tape, see what it looks like. Of course, gonna expect some bleeding, but outside of that, things went pretty good. After all this is pulled off, I'm gonna give you some tips for doing your own paneling, painting, just from off the experience that I've had with this whole thing, and get back to you. Here we have my daughter, who has been the cameraman so far. She is now pulling off the tape. This is a joyful process for her. One that she looks forward to. Okay, we're gonna take a closer look to see what the bleeding may look like. It's looking pretty good so far. Yeah. And one of the things I want to point out too is, you see we have some blue tape here, but we also have just regular mask tape. And let's see how the bleeding went on that. Yeah. So you have your painter's tape as well as your masking tape. Both of them do the job pretty well. So here we have, like I said, the last wall that we had to do. And then on the other side, we had the first wall that we did. I touched up the areas that were bleeding, so it looks pretty nice. And like I said, coming back around, we have the newest wall. Okay, we'll get back to this as soon as we're finished here with peeling off the tape. Alright, here we got the finished walls, the black and gold on the white. Came out pretty good. Touched up the squares with the tape, and this is the result. And like I said, this was the white wall, and if you look over here, alright, now we have the black wall. Gold and white, we touched it up, and this was the end result. Behind me you see the turquoise wall, which are for individual booths. And but that's a whole nother video. So the walls we've done, the ceiling we did, that's another video. But as you see, this is the end result here, and if you want to do this yourself, just know it'll take a little time, and I'll be finishing up in detail how to do it yourself. Okay, so believe it or not, it's been a year since I completed this project. That's why you see the padding up here now, because since then I've had time to order the padding and put it up, and overall everything turned out well. Hopefully you can look up on YouTube or find or think of some ideas that you would like to implement for your studio, and you can also put up some sound traps and other things to make the acoustics better for your studio as well. So good luck. Like I said, I was going to mention some of the things that you would need for this particular project. You're going to need your spray paint. You're going to need your tape. You're going to need probably a template, or cut out a cardboard square that's about the size of the squares behind me. So when you finish painting, you need to clean up some of the square areas, it's easier to spray and correct it, or just to touch up with a paintbrush. You need a mask, and hopefully you can have some fresh air. Other than that, you know, just take your time and plug on. You know, you'll get it done, and once it's done, you'll be pleased with the results, so long as you don't try to take any shortcuts. Exercise some patience. I'm going to go ahead and put some pictures up here to kind of show you the project as it went along as well. Even though the video is there, you can see some of the still shots and the before and after pictures. So enjoy.
Conflict in my life helps me to see the light. If life were so easy, I wouldn't need to fight. Not having any battles surely makes us weak, but